I'm 59 years old, and right now I'm competing for freelance contracts against 25-year-olds who can pull 16-hour coding marathons on Red Bull and Sprite. I can't do that anymore. My back hurts, my eyes get tired, and frankly, I don't want to live that way. But here's what I discovered. I don't need to. There's a psychological trick from the 1920s, tested on restaurant waiters, that lets me get more done in 4 focused hours than most people do in a full day. And in just a couple minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to combine this with ChatGPT to create work while you sleep. It's called the Zeigarnik Effect. And if you're over 40 and feel like you're falling behind, this is going to change how you work. Let me tell you about a study from 1927. A psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik, I hope I said that right, noticed something strange about waiters in a busy restaurant. These waiters could remember incredibly complex orders. Table 6 wants the salmon, no butter, extra lemon, with the Caesar salad, but swap croutons for pine nuts, all without writing anything down. The weird part is, the moment they delivered the food and closed the check, they couldn't remember a single detail about that table's order. It was like their brain had been wiped. Zeigarnik realized the brain has a built-in obsession with unfinished tasks. Open loops drive us crazy. Closed loops disappear from memory. When I understood this, I realized I've been using my brain backwards for 30 years. I'm going to show you exactly how I use this with AI to outcompete younger developers and project managers. Most of us try to finish things cleanly. We want to complete the task, close the file, check the box. It feels good, right? That sense of completion. But that's exactly when your brain stops thinking about it. Meanwhile, the 25-year-olds aren't smarter than me. They're just younger and willing to brute force problems with volume. They'll rewrite the same function 6 times at 11 p.m. because they can survive on pizza and poor decisions. I can't compete with that stamina, and I don't want to. So I had to get smarter. I had to make my brain work for me while I was doing other things. Sleeping, eating, living my life. That's where the Zeigarnik Effect becomes a weapon. Before I show you the exact technique, a quick question. Are you currently using AI at work? Drop me a comment and let me know what you're using it for. I'm curious, and I think other viewers would be too. If anyone else is already doing some version of this technique without realizing it, drop it in the comments. Alright, here's the actual move. And this is where I got the edge. When I'm working on a coding project or writing a script, I don't finish at a clean stopping point. I stop in the middle of a sentence, literally. I'll write, the function needs to return the user data, but first we have to, and then I'll close the laptop. It drives me insane, and that's the point. My brain hates that open loop. So while I'm making dinner or going for a walk, my subconscious is chewing on the problem. The next time I sit back down, the next morning or later, I don't need to get in the mood to work. My brain's already there. That's the basic move. But the power move comes when you combine this with your AI workflow. And let me show you that next. If this stopping mid-sentence thing sounds like the kind of leverage you've been looking for, do me a favor and hit the like button. It helps the algorithm realize there's actually an audience for those of us who prioritize strategy over grind culture. If you want more of these experience-based shortcuts, stick around. But let's get to the part you're actually here for now, how to plug this into your AI workflow. And here's where it gets even better, and where I actually outcompete the 25-year-olds. I use AI to code. Specifically, I use Cursor ChatGPT, but here's the difference. Most developers let AI finish. They prompt, write a function that validates email addresses, and the AI spits out 40 lines of code. They copy, paste it, done. Fast, right? But they have no idea if it's good. They don't know why the AI chose that regex pattern, and when the client says, so this breaks on international emails, they're stuck. Here's what I do. I prompt, write a function that validates email addresses using regex, but make sure it handles, and I hit stop. Now my brain fills the gap. Does that cover subdomains? What about plus signs or international characters? I finish the thought myself. Or I guide the AI with a follow-up prompt. This does 2 things. One, I stay in control. The AI is my assistant, not my architect. And two, I actually learn what I'm building. So when the client asks for changes, I don't panic. I iterate live during the call. The 25-year-old gets 100 lines in 5 minutes, and I get 50 lines in 10 minutes, but mine's bulletproof, and I can defend every decision. Guess who gets the follow-up contract? At least most times. This isn't just for coders. Last month, I taught this to a project manager friend of mine who was drowning in stakeholder decks. He had a presentation due on a Friday, and his first instinct is ask ChatGPT. So he prompts, write me a project status update for Q4. And the AI will give you something, a timeline, budget, risks. It looks professional, but it'll sound like every other AI-generated deck in the building. I told him, try this instead. Prompt, draft an executive summary for Q4 project status, focusing on, and then stop before you list the focus areas. This will force your brain to figure it out. What are my stakeholders actually worried about? Maybe finance is nervous about runway. Maybe engineering's burned out on scope creep. Maybe the CEO needs to hear on track, even though you're not. The AI doesn't know any of that, but you do. So you finish the prompt with the political intelligence that only you have. AI gives you the structure, you add the strategy. Now, when you're present, you're not reading generic bullet points, you're anticipating every question before it's asked. The junior PM gets grilled. What about vendor delays? You already addressed that on your slide 3. That's the difference. That's the Zeigarnik Effect doing the heavy lifting. Look, I don't care if you write code or manage people, the pattern's pretty much the same. Stop the AI before it finishes the thought. Let your brain, with your 25 years of experience, fill in the strategic gap. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. The AI can generate the output, but it can't generate judgment. And that judgment is what they're paying you for. That's what the 25-year-olds don't have yet, and what they can't automate. Now, there's one more piece to this I didn't cover today. How you use this technique when you're stuck on a problem you don't even know how to start. That's an advanced move, and I'll show that coming up soon. If you want to see that, hit subscribe. I'm Christopher Hartline, and I'm building the playbook for staying competitive when you're the oldest person on the Zoom call.